Hello and welcome to the Made Book Club. Today I'm doing the Quick to Judge challenge. This is a challenge or a tag that was created a few years ago by Ali Ristol, I think her name is. And then it's recently been revived by Jess at Jess Book Girl TV. And she tagged Pat at Book Chat with Pat and Reney at Beyond Books. And then Pat and Reney both tagged me. So now it's my turn to do it. And the point of this challenge is to pick out some books from your shelves, read the first paragraph, and then rank them. And the one that's highest ranked goes on your next TBR. Since I usually use my TBR jars for my TBRs, I thought that I was gonna pick prompts to decide which books to read from. But that didn't really work out. But I'm still gonna use the prompts for the different challenges that I'm participating in this year because those are the books that I want to prioritize. So I figured I would just use the prompts that are for April. So first up I have the Read Good challenge by Ben at Ben Reads Good. And the prompt for April is to read a book nominated for the Women's Prize any year. And so for that I have My Sister the Serial Killer by Oinkan Braithwaite. For the Savage prompt 2025, the April prompt is to read a book with a sound in the title, and for that I have Never Whistle at Night, edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr. Such a long name. Whistle is a sound, so this is my pick for that. The April prompt for the Climathon 2025 by Tasman at Tasme2 is Outside Setting, and for that I have Soil by Camille T. Dungy. I'm assuming this would qualify for outside setting since it is about a garden. For the Buzzwordathon, I have already read Bunny by Mona Awad for the animal in the title prompt for April. But the prompt for April on the cover challenge is to read a book with an animal on the cover. And so for that, I'm choosing Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinsk, which has this beautiful little lab puppy on the cover. And then for my own diversity book bingo, I just did row by row until I hit a book that I have on my shelves. And the first one that came up is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, and this is for the prompt recommended. So the second prompt for the challenge is to read the first paragraph of each book. And so let's start with My Sister the Serial Killer by Oinkan Braithwaite. The first thing is a little thing that just says words, and it says, Ayula summons me with these words. Korede, I killed him. I had hoped I would never hear those words again. I guess I'll just read the first paragraph of the first chapter. Bleach. I bet you didn't know that bleach masks the smell of blood. Most people use bleach indiscriminately, assuming it's a catch-all product, never taking the time to read the list of ingredients on the back, never taking the time to return to the recently wiped surface to take a closer look. Bleach will disinfect, but it's not great for cleaning residue, so I use it only after I have first scrubbed the bathroom of all its traces of life and death. Okay. Yeah, that's a good start. It fits very well with the title and yeah, very intriguing. Next, let's do Never Whistle at Night. There's a foreword and I'm not gonna do that one. The first short story is called Kushtuka by Matilda Seller. So it says, you don't have to love him, just make his baby, Mama said, hanging the fleshy swath of salmon to dry. It might have colored eyes, you know, maybe blue eyes. He'll pay you to keep quiet about it. I like it as a paragraph. I don't like the contents of it. But yeah, that's also a very intriguing first paragraph. It made me angry. I don't like when people tell other people what to do with their babies. Okay, moving on to Soil by Camille T. Dungy. And this is a memoir, the story of a Black mother's garden. So it says, I sat in my realtor's Lexus while she toured me around Fort Collins, Colorado, during the waning weeks of May 2013. At that time of the year, I know now, flurries from cottonwoods fill the northern Colorado sky. Fluff gathers in yards and along the road's margins like snowdrifts. Apple trees, mountain ash, hawthorns, choke cherries. All their white petals fall onto sidewalks, pile onto windshields. Neighborhood by neighborhood, petal-strewn curbs whisked by the car windows, disorienting me. All that whiteness swirled around us, and I wondered what I was getting my family into. I thought that by May, Colorado would be heading into summer, but the wide-flung whiteness made me think the cold of winter might be all this town could offer me. Also a very strong opening to this memoir, I think. A very powerful way to sort of combine the nature and the whiteness of this area. Yeah, that's a very good start. Next, I have Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinsk. This is a novel about a woman who loses her eyesight. I'm gonna read the first 3 little paragraphs because they're very short. Emily, the woman who would become everything to me. The person I would eat every meal with and lie down next to every night for the rest of my days. She was just ahead, behind that door at the far end of the long hall. I glanced over my shoulder. Mark kept pace, slightly behind me. I could feel his excitement. It matched my own. Everyone said Emily and I would be perfect for each other. I'd overheard them talking when they thought I was asleep. I spend a lot of time with my eyes closed, but I don't sleep much. They didn't know that. A magical match, they'd all agreed. So I think that's from the perspective of the guide dog on the cover. And yeah, that sounds like a very promising start to this book as well. I don't know how I'm gonna rank these. And then finally, we have The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. Part 1, Gone. Chapter 1, The Hurricane. There was an old Jew who lived at the site of the old synagogue up on Chicken Hill in the town of Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And when Pennsylvania state troopers found the skeleton at the bottom of an old well off Hay Street, the old Jew's house was the first place they went to. This was in June 1972, the day after a developer tore up the Hayes Street lot to make way for a new townhouse development. How am I going to choose? That's also a very strong start. I don't know how I'm going to rank these. Guiding Emily had a very heartwarming feel to it, a very positive and magical match. Soil had a very poetic start to it with the petals and the whiteness and the snow and summer, cold, warm, a lot of different elements to the language and to the, I really like that. Never Whistle at Night. Someone telling them what to do with their baby. I don't like that, but it was a very strong start to the story. And My Sister the Serial Killer was also a good start with cleaning up the blood. I'm gonna say that my least favorite was Never Whistle at Night. Not because it wasn't good, but it just made me feel bad. Okay, number 4 is gonna have to be, I don't know. I don't know. This is a challenge for me, making decisions. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go with Soil for number 4. I think that was a very strong opening, but it wasn't maybe the most intriguing. So I guess this is my number 4. I really like that though. All of these were very strong openings. Okay, next I guess My Sister the Serial Killer I'm gonna put as number 3, I think, just because it was a good start to the book and the words, the very, very first paragraphs was also good. But I don't think it maybe gave much more than the title already does. So I'm gonna put that as number 3. I don't know. And then I have Guiding Emily and The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store left. And I really wanna read both of these now. Guiding Emily had a really positive feel to it. And I really liked having the perspective of the dog. I'm assuming that's what it was. But I also really want to read The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. And I think that the first paragraph of that was very strong as well. And I like the writing style of that. Guiding Emily had a very simple language. So, oh my goodness. I don't know. How am I going to choose between these two? The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store is from my own shelves and Guiding Emily is from the library. That doesn't make a difference on the first paragraph. I don't know. Should I read the next paragraph of these two? Because I just can't decide. I don't know. I'm the most indecisive person. Okay, we found a belt buckle and a pendant in the well, the cops said, and some old threads from a red costume or jacket. That's what the lab shows. Okay, I really like that. I really like that. I like it starting with a mystery and it's just like gripping from the start and you want to know more. Okay, and then this one, a magical match, they all agreed. I lifted my eyes to Mark, and he nodded his encouragement. I gave a brief shake of my head. Only 4 more doorways between Emily and me. I think I'm gonna have to say The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, because that start to the book is just, I wanna know. I wanna know what else they found, and I wanna know more. So I guess this is my top pick. I think all of these had really strong openings, but I'm gonna put them in the order of number 5 is Never Whistle at Night by Shane Hawke. Number 4 is Soil by Camille T. Dungy. Number 3 is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oinkan Braithwaite. Number 2 is Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinsk. And number 1 is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. And so this is now going on my April TBR. And yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about all of these. And then the last thing is to tag some other people, and I didn't think that far ahead. And so I'm just gonna tag some people in the description and invite anyone who's watching to do this as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. So first up we have the Read Good challenge by Ben at Reads Good. No.